Ed Martin, a conservative activist and staunch defender of the January 6th Capitol attack, has been nominated by Donald Trump to serve as the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. This nomination represents a significant development, given Martin's controversial history and his outspoken support for those implicated in the insurrection. The appointment, which requires Senate confirmation, places a fervent advocate for the January 6 defendants at the helm of prosecuting serious crimes within the very city where the attack took place. Martin's past actions have drawn considerable scrutiny. He publicly defended the actions of the January 6 rioters, posting on social media, "Rowdy crowd but nothing out of hand. Ignore the #fake news." This statement, made in real time during the events, reveals his initial perspective on the gravity of the situation. Further adding to the controversy, court filings list Martin as legal counsel for at least 3 defendants charged in connection with the Capitol riot, including a member of the Proud Boys who pleaded guilty to felony charges. This involvement underscores his deep engagement with the defense of those accused in the attack. His affiliation with the Patriot Freedom Project, an organization raising funds to support January 6 defendants and their families, further highlights his unwavering commitment to this cause. His public statements, such as seemingly characterizing federal prosecutors as the president's lawyers and reposting a comment questioning the Department of Justice's independence from the president, reveal a perspective at odds with the traditional understanding of prosecutorial. These actions have raised significant concerns regarding potential conflicts of interest and his commitment to upholding the rule of law. Alexis Loeb, the former deputy chief of the section that prosecuted the January 6 cases, expressed strong reservations when Martin was appointed on an interim basis. Loeb argued that Martin's appointment appeared driven by the president's political priorities more so than the work of protecting public safety in Washington. This assessment casts doubt on Martin's suitability for the role, given the perceived prioritization of political allegiance over impartial justice. A particularly contentious aspect of Martin's tenure involved a request he submitted to a judge to dismiss charges against a January 6 defendant he had previously represented. This dual role directly contradicts ethical standards generally prohibiting lawyers from representing both sides in the same case. Department of Justice regulations further mandate a minimum 1-year waiting period before lawyers can take cases involving former clients. Richard Painter, former chief ethics official under President George W. Bush, characterized this action as a fundamental conflict of interest, highlighting the gravity of this ethical breach. Martin defended his actions in an office-wide email, claiming he had ceased involvement in the cases over a year and a half prior, handling them pro bono and believing he was off the cases. He also alleged that an internal ethics inquiry was leaked to the media. The email, while an attempt at self-justification, fails to fully address the inherent conflict of interest and the appearance of impropriety. Adding further fuel to the controversy, the Washington Post reported that Martin fired approximately 30 federal prosecutors who worked on January 6 cases upon assuming his interim role. This mass dismissal suggests a concerted effort to reshape the prosecutorial approach to these cases, potentially aligning it with a more lenient stance toward the defendants. Martin's actions extended beyond internal matters. When a federal judge ordered prominent January 6 defendants, including Oath Keepers leader Stewart Rhodes, to avoid Washington, D.C., and the U.S. Capitol, Martin intervened, successfully persuading the judge to reverse the ban. This intervention demonstrates a clear effort to mitigate the consequences for individuals involved in the attack. His involvement also extended to a surprising defense of Elon Musk and his company, Dogecoin. In letters posted on X, Martin expressed concern about some of the staff at Doge being targeted publicly and pledged legal action against anyone who threatens your people. He further vowed to investigate and chase, till the end of the earth, anyone acting unethically or illegally. These pronouncements raised alarm among press freedom groups, who emphasized that criticizing government officials is not a crime and that Martin's statements could potentially infringe on First Amendment rights. The overarching context of Martin's nomination cannot be ignored. One of Trump's first actions upon his return to office was to grant unconditional pardons to approximately 1,500 individuals involved in the January 6th attack, including leaders of far-right groups convicted of serious charges. Martin's confirmation as U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., would represent another significant step in Trump's apparent effort to minimize the consequences of the violent January 6, 2021 attack. The situation underscores deep concerns about political influence on the justice system and the potential erosion of impartial law enforcement. The Senate confirmation process will be crucial in determining whether Martin's nomination proceeds, given the weight of evidence against his suitability for the role. The Associated Press and Reuters contributed to this report.